My name is Maya Lane. I'm 29. I was eating lunch at my desk when an email blinked in, and a second later a notification stacked on top. For half a second my dad's name filled my screen and I let myself hope, maybe a check-in, maybe something about my promotion. The message opened clean and cold: "We've chosen to sever all contact. Stay away from us forever." Another buzz landed on top. Brooke liked the text in the family chat. A bright, stupid thumbs up. My sandwich turned to metal in my mouth. The office hummed in fluorescent fatigue. Someone's reheated fish cut through the air. When my hands finally stopped shaking, I typed without overthinking, "I'll remove my name from every loan tomorrow." Send. I silenced the thread. I finished lunch. I went back to work. They severed me by message, I severed the money. Ever had family cut you off by text? Tell me below. I woke before dawn. Coffee, notebook, laptop, my quiet arsenal lined across the table like weapons. The apartment was dark, the city half asleep. I sat in that silence where decisions echo. I'd said I'd remove my name. Now I meant it. You can't just erase your name, the banker warned. Then trigger whatever removes it, I said. Her silence told me everything. Refinance or sell. Those were the only doors. If my dad couldn't qualify, the house would list itself in loss. Next, the truck lease. I drafted the certified notice and mailed it before noon. 30 to 60 days for review. The finance manager didn't bother dressing it up. No guarantor, no truck. Simple math. Finally the math was on my side. By lunch my legal pad was full of names and numbers: mortgage, truck, Brooke's car, mom's kitchen loan. Every debt I'd carried like a bloodline. I paused to breathe. The coffee had gone cold and bitter, but clarity burned hotter than caffeine. Brooke's car came next. Title and insurance in my name. Legally, it was mine. I'd been paying for her independence for years. I was repossessing my sanity. Then mom's renovation loan, $20,000 borrowed for her credit's sake. 3 payments made, then a choir of excuses. I paused the rest. Let collections call me, not control me. The list looked brutal in ink. Every signature a scar I was finally suturing closed. They called me selfish for saying no. Ungrateful for wanting distance. Vindictive for choosing fairness. What they never called me was free. If I was banished, my signature was leaving with me. By the next morning I'd memorized the list. Every number, every signature that tied me to them. Brooke's car was first, title, insurance, registration all in my name, she just drove it like she'd earned it. I waited until her shift started. Mom and Dad were at work. Suburbia sat under pale spring light. I parked down the street, key in hand. The driveway looked the same, trimmed hedges, porch flags. Only I'd changed. Her white car gleamed like a dare. I unlocked it, slid into the driver's seat, and turned the key. The engine caught on the first try. Fast food wrappers carpeted the floor. Old fries and cheap perfume. Glitter ground into the mats. I backed out of the driveway. No one stopped me. No one noticed. It felt like theft. It wasn't. At my apartment, I parked and stared at the hood. I'd taken back something with my name on it. I sent one message to the family chat: vehicle recovered. Brooke can arrange other transportation. Then I muted the thread. By the time I came back from my workout, my phone was a floodplain, hundreds of messages, missed calls, voicemails. Mom crying. Dad furious. Brooke raging through text bubbles. Uncle Mark preaching forgiveness. Aunt Jenna sending prayer hands. Cousin Tyler diagnosing me from Facebook. Everyone outraged. Not by what they'd done, but by what I'd stopped doing. I set the keys on the counter, palms still buzzing. I opened my folder: titles, statements, screenshots, proof. If I hadn't seen it on paper, I might have doubted myself and called the police on me. Title was in my name. The fear left. I wrote the date in a spiral notebook and started a log. Times, calls, messages, steps. A record for the future me. Outside, sprinklers hissed in the courtyard. The air smelled like wet soil and soap. Normal kept happening. I showered, pulled on soft clothes, and brewed tea. I watched the steam rise and matched its calm. Grandma June called around 9. Her tone was steady and deliberate. "I told your mother I'd hear your side first." I almost cried. I told her everything, the loans, the lies, the texts that exiled me. She listened, then sighed. "When your mother was young, she borrowed 5,000 from us. Never paid it back. Said she thought it was a gift." Another pause. "Some people think love means endless rescue. You're right to stop drowning for them." Her voice wavered once, then steadied. "You remind me of your grandfather. He believed in earning peace." When the call ended, I sat in the dark. The car keys cooled in my palm. Freedom didn't feel triumphant. It felt clean, like air after rain. Sometimes taking back what's yours looks like betrayal, until you remember who betrayed first. The next morning arrived with noise. Ping stacked like hail on glass. Mom's voicemails braided guilt with scripture. Dad's texts threatened lawyers and police. Brooke went public, a Facebook note titled "My Truth." I read it once, jaw tight. I was jealous, controlling, vindictive. Her friends applauded in heart emojis. A former coworker commented cautiously, "Didn't Maya pay for that car?" The comment vanished in minutes. So did the coworker. My phone kept buzzing, screenshots from cousins I barely knew, hashtags about narcissists and betrayal. I locked my accounts, changed passwords, turned off read receipts. Then I opened the evidence folder, mortgage statements, lease contracts, loan terms, dates, amounts, signatures that matched mine. I photographed everything. I saved copies to 2 drives. I emailed myself a compressed archive. Dad finally sent a legal note, a photo of letterhead, not a letter. "Expect consequences," he wrote. I forwarded it to Erin. She replied in 6 minutes. "Bluff. Keep documentation immaculate." I made tea. Peace approached carefully. At noon, Grandma June called again. "I've slept on it," she said. "I'm updating my will this week." I gripped the counter. "Grandma, you don't need to." "I do," she said, voice soft but not weak. "Your mother confuses love with access. You confuse love with obligation. Stop doing that." Something inside me clicked, permission I didn't know I needed. I scheduled a therapy intake, Thursday, 4 p.m, recurring. I added it to my calendar and set an alert. At sunset, Brooke posted a shaky story, tragic lighting, practiced tears. "Family should help, not punish," she said. I didn't reply. I folded laundry instead, shirts, socks, a soft towel. The door buzzer startled me. A courier handed over a small envelope with my name on it. Inside, a typed demand. "Return the vehicle immediately." Threats in bold. No signatures. I smiled without humor. I emailed my response in 3 lines, title attached, insurance attached, your move. Erin texted a thumbs up. "One more thing," she added. "Start a written log. Every contact, every threat, every expense." I opened a fresh document and typed the date and time. The list grew a spine. That night, the chat burned hotter. Uncle Mark proposed mediation. Aunt Jenna organized a prayer chain. Cousin Tyler sent a sermon video. I muted his number permanently. Before bed, I stood by the window. The city kept moving, unbothered. Somewhere a siren passed and faded. My life felt smaller and cleaner. Not empty, measured. I set my phone face down. I turned off every notification. Quiet arrived like a rightful tenant. I slept for the first time in months. I didn't dream of drowning. They broadcast a saga. I kept a record and claimed my peace. The house hit the market in June. I didn't visit once. Agents staged fruit bowls and white towels. I signed digitally and moved on. Dad tried refinancing and got denied twice. The lender emailed the next steps, sale required, timeline attached. I forwarded it to my lawyer. An offer arrived after 6 showings. Good school district. Clean inspection. Closing in 30 days. At the signing I kept my camera off. The wire confirmation landed that afternoon. After the mortgage and fees, equity remained. My portion, $20,000. I saved the receipt. Dad texted one line, "You're a vulture." I archived it for records. The truck lease resolved itself. The dealership demanded a new guarantor or a return. He found a coworker willing to co-sign. I mailed my release letter anyway. File updated. Liability removed. Brooke's car stayed in my spot. I changed the insurance and plates. Maintenance on schedule. Finally, no glitter on the mats. Mom's kitchen loan kept rattling in my head. 20,000 borrowed in my name. 3 payments from her, then silence. I'd stopped paying last winter. My score dipped 60 points. I let it. Collections called 6 months later. Balance swollen with fees, 13,000. I negotiated a settlement, 5,000 and a single payment, deletion in writing. They agreed. I paid and filed the letter. My totals were simple, 9 already paid, 5 to settle, 14 on 20. A wound closed with a scar. Work noticed the shift. I stayed late for deliverables, not disasters. I mentored the new hires. My manager scheduled a one-on-one. "You've stepped up," she said. "Clients ask for you by name. Promotion in 3 months, senior title, 15% raise." I rerouted the difference to savings. Brooke's posts turned louder than sadder, rants about toxic people, screenshots of devotionals between ads. A former coworker commented again, "Didn't your sister pay for everything?" The comment disappeared. So did the account. I didn't chase narratives online. I kept mine on paper, dates, amounts, outcomes, next steps. Grandma June visited in August with a small suitcase, a firm hug, and clear eyes. She brought a card and a check. "For your buffer," she said. "Not your burden." We ate lunch by the window. She asked about work and the condo search. I answered without flinching. At the door she paused. "Proud of you. Not for fighting, for stopping the rescue." That night I opened a new folder labeled bankruptcy, not mine, theirs. Public records showed filings in our county, names I recognized, none that surprised me. They were choosing consequences over change. I closed the tab and breathed slowly. I wasn't their insurer anymore, or their understudy. The apartment stayed tidy and quiet. Bills paid. Calendar light. Inbox manageable. Freedom looked like Tuesday. I toured condos with a steady heartbeat, no one else on the paperwork. A 1-bedroom faced a green park where morning light insisted through tall windows. The lender approved my file quickly, clean history, clean math, clean boundaries. On closing day I signed a loan and let my name fill every page with confidence. Keys landed in my palm, not heavy, final. I moved with friends. Pizza, blankets, bad jokes about adulthood. We built shelves and laughed easily. Grandma June visited the next weekend, same small suitcase, bigger smile. She brought soup and stories. "I updated the will," she said. "Your mother gets modest help. You get the rest." I started to protest, she raised a hand, gentle. Receive care without arguing it away. Work stayed steady, not frantic. Deadlines met. Weekends became mine again. I bought a used bicycle. On Thursdays I went to therapy. We named losses without dramatics and practiced quiet joy. Sometimes I reread that text from my dad, "Stay away from us forever." It doesn't burn anymore. It glows like an exit sign. Brooke kept posting. I stopped checking. Narratives need audiences, mine moved out. At dusk I walked the park loop. Kids traced the path on small bikes. The trees exhaled. A text pinged from someone new, kind, patient. "Plans for Saturday?" I said yes without calculating rescue. I liked the version of me who answered. That night I opened the balcony door. City noise braided with summer air. I watered plants that finally lived. Peace wasn't a ceremony. It was a practice: bills on autopay, phone on silent, locks clicked, windows open. If you've ever chosen boundaries over approval, I'm proud of you. Tell me what you kept, and what you finally released. I removed my name from their loans and from their narratives.